Hey guys, I just want to let you know, this is a quick apology. This episode's a little bit all over the place. We're going through a lot of change. Mercury is in retrograde. So if you're coming to kind of get an idea of, hey, I want to find out what's happening in the book, you're not. We read about a solid minute and a half of the book and then give up. So, if you're here for the goofs and the gags, you're in the right place. But if you're here to hear the story of Ready Player One, it's probably not the best idea. And I just want to thank our sponsors at Poppy Sleep Stories for sponsoring this.
We don't have a sponsor!
I want to thank
Who would sponsor this?
I want to thank the Comeau app for sponsoring this. Check out Harry Styles' sleep story.
They don't sponsor us. Harry Styles does have a sleep story.
Harry Styles has a sleep story on a meditation app?
Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey.
They do lots of celebrities on the Comeau app.
What the fuck? What the... We live in a stupid fucking timeline. I'm gonna run to the washroom and get water real quick, because I got water and then I drank all of it. I shall return.
You know what that means, right?
What?
The podcast now belongs to us.
I would have been smart to tell you to record after I do this, but wasn't thinking. Oh well.
So, this is our podcast now.
That's fun.
Because Loafers is away going to the bathroom getting water, so we run this joint. We built this shitty on rock and roll. Why don't we talk about something Loafers isn't like? Apparently, the girl from The Good Place, you know who I'm talking about? The girl, not Christian Wig or whoever the blonde girl is. Oh, Christian Bell. Haha. It's the other girl.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? What's her name?
Jamila, whatever?
Yeah, apparently she's gonna play a Marvel villain. And Loafers was like, oh, that sucks. Why do they keep hiring comedy actresses? I don't think women are funny.
I don't think Loafers said that one.
Complete hate campaign on Twitter. Just like an absolute destruction of all sort of progression for women in comedy. I'm not saying we should put our finger on the cancel button, but I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying, if you want to see...
Oh, man.
Hey!
What's up? Are you talking about canceling me?
Yeah, Jesse, admit it. You wanted to cancel Loafers because...
What am I getting cancelled for?
Because Jesse said that Jamila Jamil is going to be a Marvel villain and that you hate it or something. I don't know if that's even true.
It doesn't bode well. I'll say that.
But Jesse was saying that you said, oh, why do they keep casting comedy actresses? Women can't even do comedy. They're not funny.
Yeah, I was a little...
That's not what I said.
I was a little bit shocked waking up and finding those tweets from you this morning. I was a little shaken. I got a little bit of a fright because of it, and I'm a little worried about how this is going to bode for our podcast.
My reputation. Oh, damn.
You know, I don't know if I can professionally collaborate with somebody who is out there making comments like that. Well, we're trying to do a really good introspect into Ernest Cline's feminist work. I don't know if that is a good combo.
Damn, I guess you're just gonna have to kick me off and find someone else to do the fucking editing.
So I don't want to do that. So all's good. Well, Loafer said we would have to kick him off and find someone else to do the editing, and that sounds like so much work. So instead, I think we should probably start the podcast.
Remember Akira? That's from Japan. Remember Galaga and Mrs. Pac-Man? Remember Highlander and Highlander 2? Remember Star Trek? We certainly do. Reading Player One.
Okay, hello and welcome to Reading Player One. I'm your host, Loafers. Here with me are...
It's me, Jessie. Wahoo!
Whoa. It's me, Sam. Mamma mia.
What a gift. Mamma Mia. I just want to say something first, which is that I was listening back over the previous episode, which just to see where we had left off, and I realized that the last thing we read from the actual book, like in order, was 16 minutes from the end of that episode, and the rest of it is just us bullshitting.
Should we, talk about how we've been? Is that, what people do in podcasts?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah, you how have you two been?
Samuel, would you like to go first?
Oh, do you want me to talk about the fact that you were crying this morning because you had a dream that I broke up with you?
I mean, that sounds like a personal situation that we had. I don't know if you want to disclose our relationship problems in front of the masses.
I don't think we're discussing relationship problems. I'm just saying.
Well, you did break up with me.
I
feel
didn't.
like that is.
I didn't do
I
that.
feel like that's not something we want to post to the public, that you broke up with me.
I didn't break up with you, though, is the thing. You had a dream.
I mean, okay, listen. You and I were both asleep.
I'm gonna call this episode as Sam breaks up with Jesse.
Break up with my wife.
If you consider that both of us were asleep, hear me out. If both of us were asleep, that means because we were right beside each other, our subconsciouses were dueling between each other. So
They
it's
weren't. I wasn't having dreams about breaking up with you. I was having dreams about
What were you having
finding
dreams
blood
about?
in my ear.
Oh no. Maybe that symbolizes divorce.
Oh god.
Someone look it up.
Or more so because I accidentally, the other day, I was cleaning my ear with a Q-tip. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I was. And my loving wife sat down next to me and bumped my arm.
Oh no! Jesse, did you stab your wife in the head?
Can't confirm or deny that one.
And so I've been nervous that I had a ruptured eardrum ever since, so it seeped into my subconscious that I had, blood coming out of my ear.
Just like
Oh, no.
Sam dumping me has seeped into my subconscious after months and months of neglect.
What are you talking about? What is happening?
Oh my god.
That's right, folks. Tune in for the drama. I mean, other than that, though, we've been fine. We've been going out and swimming a lot because it's summer.
Sick.
We've been eating, fishing, loving.
Have you been fishing?
No.
We have not been fishing. Jesse doesn't eat fish.
You can fish and not eat fish.
That's true. I did most of my childhood.
It would just defeat the entire moral point of not eating fish.
It's how old men meditate.
It is how
They
old men
can't-
meditate.
It is how old men meditate.
Yeah, because they
can't
can't
confirm.
download the Calm app. They're not about to pop on that Poppy's Hair Adventures sleep
What are you
story.
talking about?
I'm talking about Poppy's Hair Adventure sleep story on,
Oh, I
on the
see.
Calm app. This podcast is sponsored by Calm.
Do you pay for... It's not sponsored by the fucking Calm app, and it's not gonna be. Do you pay for that?
No, I got a free trial so I could listen to Poppy's sleep story.
Sleep.
Well, please remember to unsubscribe, because if you pay for a meditation app, you're a fucking mark.
A mark, not a narc?
No, a mark. Like, you're a rube. You have been
Oh.
grifted. All you gotta do is, count your breaths and let thoughts float by or whatever. Like in that Steven Universe episode.
Loafers is
That's
taking
not-
a strong stance anti-meditation app.
This is not going to work well for our sponsor. They're not going to be happy with this.
Not a sponsor.
We don't have a sponsor!
We're not
This
cool
episode-
enough to have a sponsor, honey.
This episode is sponsored by Poppy's sleep story.
It's not. It's not. You can't
It's
say
not.
that one.
Oh my god. Okay.
You can't say that it's sponsored by Poppy's sleep story.
There's also...
Poppy's sleep story. Poppy's sleep story. If you are listening to this, I will take back everything I said, and I will whore out.
Please come back, baby. If you're listening to this.
I'm doing great, since you asked.
Yeah.
Cinemas are open. I'm back at the movies. I went to see A Quiet Place Part 2, and that was great. I
Was
went
it
to see
scary?
Wolfwalkers Up the Parish. Yeah, it was spooky. I got spooked a few times, and it was beautifully made and everything. Wolfwalkers Rules Up the Parish. And I also went to see Nobody, which is John Wick, starring the guy from Better
Nobody.
Call Saul. And yeah, I was telling you guys about that before we started recording. That was pretty dumb, but I even had fun with that.
Wow.
And also just generally I've been able to go out a little bit, and I've been having a really good time. So, sorry if that was all too interesting for you.
I'm sorry. No, I was reading Ready Player One.
Wow, I thought you were just doing a bit.
No, I
but
was...
genuinely fuck me, I guess.
No, not genuinely. I'm sorry.
I mean, you did already tell us, so, like, we already
That's-
knew.
I have silly little ADHD brain. I can't be held accountable for my actions.
Okay,
Oh my
Gabby
God, it's
Hannah,
true.
calm down.
Okay. How about we... It's been long enough. How about we read the fucking book?
That's not what the people are here for.
People are here for...
At this stage, it can't possibly be what the people are here for.
People are here
I
for
told
premium
myself not to get
wins.
too excited. I might be jumping to conclusions. James Halliday has donated billions to fund the creation of the Oasis public school system here,
What
as a way to
martyr.
demonstrate the huge potential of the Oasis as an educational tool, and also to engage with public services through the myopic lens of his self-actualization. Little
Wow.
Bo Burnham reference for you there. And
Don't
prior
even
to
talk
his death,
Don't even bring up Bo Burnham in my house. Don't.
Yeah,
look, I likes the show.
I'm not gonna say anything, but what I am gonna say is occasionally, about once a day, I hear my wife go, Loafer's take on Bo Burnham is so wrong. Here's another
It's
reason
not
why
once a
Loafer's take on Bo Burnham is so wrong.
It's not true.
Listen, I've kind of come around on it. I've come around on it a little bit.
Oh. Tell me everything.
Okay, yeah, let's take a kind of diversion into Bo Burnham. Like,
Let's say fuck
as
the
I thought
book.
about it more, like, I think what kind of bugged me about it was more like that it's one of those situations where, like, I thought that the show bugged me, and actually what bugged me was the way that people were talking about it
yeah.
on Twitter. Yeah, and, like, I always fall for this, and I've got to stop falling into that trap, and it's kind of like, I thought, because of the way that people were talking about it, I thought it was just this thing that Bo Burnham was doing back earlier in his career, where he kind of publicly performs his own mental illness, and that's kind of like the extent of it. But, like, as I thought about it more since then, I think I've come to appreciate that Inside is, like, more sophisticated than that, and, like, you know, he lives in a big house in real life, and he's got a girlfriend of 8 years, but, like, that's not lying. That's not him bullshitting us. It's like a metaphor that, like, the room that he's in is, like, you know, it's about social isolation, but it's also about his own mental illness and the way that he kind of keeps himself away from the world and other people, you know, even regardless of social isolation. That's the thing that he kind of does anyway. And, like, just the way that he draws attention to how the whole thing is staged. Like, when you have this thing of him, like, lying on the ground and talking to the microphone, and it's supposed to be that, like, he's very depressed, but it's all, like, perfectly blocked out and aestheticized, I find that interesting, because, like, you know, it's kind of meant to be a candid moment, but it's also, like, really drawing attention to how it's not a candid moment, and how it's, like, scripted and everything, and, like, he's just kind of, like, I'm into that. That, like, scratches the artsy part of my brain. And the more I've thought about that, the more I've kind of come around on the show overall. Having said that, for a comedy show, I don't think it's actually very funny. But
No, I don't think
you know.
I don't think Inside is as much a comedy show as his other stuff. I think Inside is more of like an art piece. Like,
It's an art piece with a lot of jokes in it.
yeah, like it's an art piece that, hey, you might also get a chuckle out of this one. Ha ha ha,
Yeah.
funny fun. But yeah,
Yes.
I like Inside a lot. Inside is probably my favorite thing that he's done so far. I think mostly because he's kind of not necessarily totally dropped his whole act, but he's talked a lot, like, with his last couple specials where he puts on a character that's, like, him, but, like, super arrogant and, like an exaggerated version of himself. And I think he kind of drops that a little bit in Inside, where it's more vulnerable than it has been previously, but it's also, like you said, still staged, still not entirely vulnerable.
Yes.
So it's interesting.
Well, it's going to be staged no matter what.
Yeah.
Because like even if he had completely genuinely had a breakdown on camera, he still made the decision to edit that in.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this on the podcast. I wouldn't say this on Twitter because like people could easily misunderstand and get mad at me. I don't think that Bo Burnham is lying about his depression at all. That would be a shitty thing for me to say. Having said that, in like Make Happy, like my understanding, what a bunch of people have told me about Make Happy is like the finale of it, the climax of it, is that he has a breakdown on stage. But like he has a breakdown on stage every time. Like it's a bit, it's scripted.
Yeah.
And, like, he's not trying to pretend that it's not scripted. So this is something that he has form on. So, like, the fact that there are different points in Inside where he seems to be having some kind of, like, mental health episode, but also, like, it's very well blocked out, and I think he's deliberately making it ambiguous whether or not it is scripted. Like, and the reason I say that, the reason I think that, is that he keeps like showing himself editing the special during the special itself. He's really drawing attention to how all of it is staged. And, you know, maybe this is like a pretentious thing for me to really focus in on, but it's the thing that most appeals to me about it.
That is fair. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff there to like look at, especially compared to like his other specials and stuff. Because I think, like people said, like he has like a breakdown at the end to Make Happy, but you're right, like that he had that breakdown every time. He did it every time. So it's not 100% genuine because like even though he was dealing with mental health stuff at the time, like he says it Inside, he was having panic attacks. That's why he stopped touring for 5 years. But like so there may be part of it that's real, but he still chose to do that bit at the end of it every time.
Yeah.
Just like he chose
to like when Taylor Swift sings a breakup song, she's not necessarily in the same emotional place every time. Like, she still sings mean, even though she's, like, in a very happy relationship now, you know? It's a matter of, like, being able to perform that emotional place, and that it's more about, like, representing an emotional truth and performing it rather than necessarily being very torn up right now, or, you know, being able to perform a happy song, like Shake It Off, even when you're feeling a bit shit that day, because, like, you have to be able to do that as a performer, and, yeah, I don't think that there's anything bullshit about it. I just want to be clear on that point.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, big tangent there about Bo Burnham, but, yeah, I think Sam and I were having, like, a Cold War of, like...
Listen... I enjoy Bo Burnham's content. I am not a stan, but I enjoy the content. It's catchy.
Yes.
And now you agree with me, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can go back to not being silently mad at me.
I wasn't actually mad at you. I want to make that very clear. Also, wife, why are you not talking at all?
Me?
Yeah, you're not talking.
I mean, I don't have anything else to add. I guess I can say, like, he's really sexy inside. But that's, like, all I've got for you.
Yeah. He is hot, but, like, in too normal of a way for me. He's just, like, straightforwardly hot.
You're like a hipster about hotness.
Yeah, I am a bit of a hipster about hotness, actually. He was a great casting choice in, like, Promising Young Woman. We gotta get off Bo Burnham. It's been long enough. It's been, like, 10 minutes.
Should we really just start a media podcast where we talk about media each week? This is actually, I'm gonna put a T on this for a second. Legit question. Are we getting to the point where we're just gonna start a media podcast?
That might be it, but, like, I feel like reading Ready Player One is kind of like the spine of it, is a good way to give it structure, because if it's not that, then we gotta figure out what it is instead, and like we gotta watch shit every week.
I mean, we already watched it.
I don't watch things when I'm sad.
I can give you all the lowdown on YouTube or drama right now.
Such as?
Well, the frenemy situation.
Oh,
What's the
Jesus.
frenemy situation?
Oh my god. Okay, do we have about 10 minutes of free time I can take with this?
Sure, go ahead.
Let me tell you about the
10
frenemy
3 minutes into
Podcast
shit.
episode. What the fuck?
We can edit it out if we need to. So, do you know who Trisha Paytas is? I think I've told you about Trisha Paytas before.
I forget.
Trisha Paytas is someone that's been on YouTube for a very, very long time. They've been in multiple scandals. They've been in a lot of the big YouTuber groups and stuff. Like, they were best friends with Shane Dawson. They were best friends with, like, not best friends, but they were dating David Dobrik's friend. And I don't even know who David Dobrik is, really, but he was, like, a big YouTuber. So, they have like been on a ton of reality shows. They have all these stories with celebrities. They're a very well-known person, and they are incredibly problematic in like the basic sense. Like they've upset the dissociation DID community.
Yeah.
The trans community, even though they've come out as non-binary since then. They did a really...
that's just going to make you even more of a target for the trans community.
It was the video that they released a few years ago about it was really, really bad, and they even apologized for that. So Trisha Paytas has had a lot of issues. And so, do you know who H3H3 is?
Yes,
Like,
I do know who H3H3
so you know who
is.
Ethan Klein is.
Remind me who Ethan Klein is.
It's
He's
just the
one
guy
of the
from
hosts of H3H3.
Yeah, because it's him,
It's
and
him and
his
his wife,
Hila.
Hila.
So,
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like,
So-
I thought he went by the name H3H3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know who that guy is.
okay, so Ethan had Trisha Paytas on a few years ago, and they did a bachelorette thing for her. And one of the contestants, from what I know, was his wife's brother, so his brother-in-law. So they had
Oh, no.
so
Do these people not have any fucking concept of, like, hey, this might lead to some trouble?
oh, just you wait. So Trisha and Ethan got into a big fight, and Trisha said, "You know what? To get back to you, I'm gonna sleep with your brother-in-law." So they did.
Oh, no.
And then what happened is they actually got into a relationship. So, even though Trisha and Ethan had this really bad relationship and were fighting and stuff and had publicly did not have a good relationship, Trisha started dating Ethan's brother-in-law. So,
What age is Trisha at this point?
and now they're engaged. Oh, what was that?
What age is Ethan? What age is Trisha at this point?
Oh,
Trisha?
like
I think
mid-30s.
Yeah.
I can understand this from, like, a 17-year-old.
Oh, that mean, listen, that's Trisha. Yeah, like Trisha said, I slept with him just to get back at them. But they started a
And now they're
relationship.
engaged.
Now they're engaged. So Trisha and Ethan started a podcast called Frenemies. And they
they're monetizing their fucking...
Oh,
my
yeah.
god.
So there's been about 38 episodes. I started watching it because I kept seeing TikToks about it. And to everyone, listen, it is probably one of the most interesting podcasts I've seen for a while. A podcast
Oh, that's gotta be soaked the fuck through with pathologies, yeah.
It is so strange to watch. The first few episodes are really, really stressful. Oh yeah, this is a whole other thing about it too. It's because they're trying to convert to Judaism. But Trisha did like a bunch of really offensive shit because Ethan is Jewish. So like I think
no.
I don't know if it was Hanukkah or something like that, but they wore like the entire military uniform.
Like the IDF?
Yes.
Oh no!
And they made like a bunch of TikToks about like Judaism and stuff like that.
Yeah, and their
and
thing was because their boyfriend, or their now fiance, Moses, is Jewish, so that was their excuse at the time, and now that's why they're converting, because they want to marry Moses and be Jewish for Moses. But also I think they genuinely want to convert too, but
But
Yeah.
they also have
Okay.
a long history of fetishizing. Like, even Ethan on the
Yeah.
podcast, if you watch it, is like, you fetishize Jewish people. And, like, Trisha keeps using, like,
That's
not
not
the
even a
word...
very common thing.
I know.
Like
It's
that's a
very...
pretty obscure way of being shitty.
Well, and then, so they got into a big fight recently, but one of the texts that Trisha posted was from, like, a year ago when they were just setting frenemies up, and Ethan was making jokes about, like, oh, maybe I'll get, like, 65%, you get 40, that's fine. And Trisha made a joke about him, being money hungry and using certain words, like, oh, you're
no,
such a...
No, you fucking obviously don't do that.
Oh, that happened a lot, where Ethan was like, you can't joke about that. You can't say, like, that's really, really offensive.
And that's something coming from H3H3, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
I don't know the guy, but, like, he's not averse to edgelord comedy, to my understanding, right?
No, he does make, like, comments about, like, Trisha, too, like, their weight and, like, their stuff like that. Like, so, yeah, it's not, they all make...
I think he's gotten better.
He has
I will
gotten a little
say.
better.
He's gotten better, but he definitely does have the edgelord, shock jock comedy.
Which we, of course, do not.
No. I don't understand that at all. So anyways, the thing though is, they actually became best friends on the podcast. For the 20 episodes after the first 10, which were like so much drama, for the 20 episodes, they were like pretty much pals. There was occasional like tension, but they were like friends. But the last episode they recorded, they got into a huge fight. And since then, Trisha has made...
They released that?
Yes. They did. So there's a lot of controversy around that. People are saying, like, Ethan should have posted, but I guess Trisha wanted them. Plus, they had sponsors, so they might have legally had to post the episode. But it's like, how much do they have to keep in? But since then, they've had... And Trisha has quit Frenemies twice. So this is the third time Trisha has walked off. But this time, it's, like, gone way, way too far. Like, Trisha has made, I think, like, 8 videos about the situation. I think people found out it was, like, longer than Corella. Like, the video reactions that they've made. They, like...
Fuck yeah.
And all of this is about because Trisha... It started as a fight because Trisha didn't like that Ethan was getting more money for the podcast. But the thing is that Ethan pays for the studio, the crew members, like, to get the merchandise, like, pays for everything.
Yes.
So it's Ethan's production, Trisha is an employee, and then on the episode, Trisha started being, like, complaining about the staff members and the crew, and saying, I want to get a new crew, I want to replace the crew.
You don't want to do that shit.
And complaining that the crew got 5%. And stuff like that.
Fuck that.
Yeah, so anyways, the crew is like, hey, that really hurt us. And Ethan's like, yeah, I'm not, like, you can say all the shit you want to me, but don't go, like, say really mean things about my crew and how they're not good at their jobs. And it's just been an absolute mess. So, listen, if you want some interesting shit, I do think Frenemies is an interesting thing on, like, a social aspect. Like, even Sam got into it, and Sam doesn't usually get into my YouTuber drama.
I feel like the pivot could be to a Trisha Paytas podcast. Like, we just go through the full history.
I could, because Trisha Paytas is incredibly interesting to me, even though it wasn't until Frenemies that I really like to talk about them, because they have a lot of stans, and I understand why, because I understand how it would be easy to follow someone like that, but at the same time, they've done so much stuff that is so problematic, and it seems to be like a faux pas to call them out at this point, when it comes to, like, the stans, but I guess that's, like, stan culture in general. So, I recommend, there's so, like, when I say stuff is happening, like, every 2 seconds, one of the YouTubers I follow that talks about drama has to post, like, 3 videos a day to catch up on how many tweets Trisha's putting out.
God.
Like, there's so many layers to this onion.
Damn, Shrek.
I will say, too, another thing that just popped into my head is the fact that Ethan has Tourette's. And not, like, vocal Tourette's, but, like, physical Tourette's. So, like, eyebrow wiggling.
That's very bad for live comedy.
Well, the thing is that Trisha kept going, like, oh, is that your Tourette's? Like, if Ethan coughed, is that your Tourette's? Oh my god, I love having a friend with Tourette's. And Ethan was like,
Ah.
that makes me super uncomfortable. And Trisha's like, why? And he's like, because it's like something I have. And yeah, it was just like, are you sure you even have Tourette's? You don't do like the vocal tics.
I gotta fucking...
Yeah,
I hate Trinidad.
It's pretty...
God!
Go look at the whole history of things. It is very interesting.
This has gotta be our next podcast.
We do a Patreon-only podcast of me disclosing the entirety of Trisha Paytas' history.
So perhaps something like that.
So I'm so sorry. You can cut some of that down if you want to.
No, I think it's fine.
I like YouTuber drama because I don't like drama in my own life, but I do enjoy this. Also, I just want to say too, I have my own. Part of me feels like a lot of this is just trying to get views and money. Like, I think their fight might be genuine, but I think Trisha making all the videos and stuff about it is...
The fact that they're uploading... The fact that they even made a Frenemies podcast indicates that, like, there's a degree of trying to monetize the rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just don't do that otherwise.
Well, I think at first it was, but then when they actually became, like, friends and... like, I mean, siblings-in-laws, like, they, it's not even, like, a professional relationship, they have a private relationship.
Yeah.
I think at first it was definitely, trying to go, like, oh, we're friends, but we're also enemies, but with how far it's gone, because now Trisha is, like, saying that Ethan, like, sexualized them and stuff like that, and it was just a lot of, there's just been a lot of stuff. I think at this point it is, like, Trisha is trying to cancel Ethan. People are not going for it. Most people are on Ethan's side. And Trisha's trying to make money to recoup because Frenemies was making a lot of money because they got a lot of views because it's a genuinely interesting concept because they're such different personalities. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about Frenemies. I am so sorry.
I really like the structure on this podcast so far where I talk to Sam for 10 minutes about Bo Burnham as Jesse didn't speak, and then I talks to Jesse for 15 minutes about Trinidad Paytas for 15 minutes, and Sam didn't speak, and we have not read the book. The episode is going to be called We Read Zero Chapters.
Oh, so this is just a fun chat episode. Alright.
Yeah.
As I said, this is why we're starting a media podcast. Continue reading the book. That was a fun conversation. If you want to, my Twitter is Jessie Nerisse on Twitter. So if you want to talk to me about Trisha Paytas, please at me because I'm so ready for it.
We have read less than a paragraph. I think we've read like 3 sentences. This is a fucking mess. And prior to his death, Halliday had set up a foundation to ensure that the Oasis public school system would always have the money it needed to operate. The Halliday Learning Foundation also provided impoverished children around the globe with free Oasis hardware and internet access so that they could attend school inside the Oasis. Wow, a charitable, moral billionaire. Like Bill Gates. Everyone's favorite. Can we go into the Bill Gates thing for like 2 seconds?
No. Wait, what's the new Bill Gates shit?
New Bill Gates just dropped.
I'm not going to go into the new Bill Gates shit too much. Just that, like, he got a divorce. It's like, it's kind of put the spotlight on his, like, connection to Jeffrey Epstein and how, like, he sent emails saying to people saying that he has an interesting lifestyle, although it's not for me. Which is certainly one fucking way of putting it.
Yeah, that's a weird, Billiam.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that, like, with other billionaires, I feel like they kind of close ranks, but that hasn't really happened for Bill. Like, the news has kind of stopped coming out. It's the impression I'm getting is that the people who want to dish dirt on him have kind of run out of dirt. But, like, you know, I feel like the Epstein thing is kind of like an L for him no matter what. But certainly no one really rushed to his defense, which indicates that, like, okay, he has money, but he's still a little fucking nerd and no one likes him.
Unlike Elon Musk.
God, what a fucking dislikable large man. It's just...
Why are you
it's
calling
not enough.
Elon Musk large?
Because he is an adult man who should know better than to behave in this way. He should know better than to erect billboards saying, defend billionaires, they're just like you. It is not enough for this man that he is literally the richest man in the world. He also needs people to like him. It's just so blatant.
I know this is so petty. And I know there's so many other issues with Elon Musk, like the billboard, everything else, but I will never forgive him for destroying my ability to listen to Grimes.
I think Grimes did that one. I think Grimes entered that relationship herself.
She did. It doesn't seem like she was forced at gunpoint.
Yeah. I don't think...
But yeah, it kind of takes the sting out of songs like We Appreciate Power, because it makes it seem like, oh, actually, she just did appreciate power.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, no, actually, I'm totally for... totally for this shit. Did y'all?
She took anti-colonialist out of her Twitter bio.
That's so. Oh
Did
my god!
she?
Did y'all? Yeah, that happened.
She
like
did.
really close to them beginning to date. Do you guys hear about the whole like Bitcoin thing? Like the whole like conspiracy theory?
Tell us about the Bitcoin conspiracy theory on this fucking media podcast. Let's go.
So Grimes, posted a few TikToks that were like, you know, if you're a socialist, you should love AI because, like, if we have robots, they could like do everything for us, and like that would be socialism. And
it
like,
would be if people had like a universal basic income, but we don't. Genius.
So the thing is, and Grimes just said like a bunch of weird shit, and people are like, why is Grimes posting TikToks? Like, that's so weird. But you hear in the background of the last TikTok, Elon go, hey babe, have you checked out Bitcoin today? Have you seen Bitcoin? So what people think is happening is he is trying to test to see if TikTok is a way to manipulate the stock market again with like Bitcoins and stuff, which he has already been investigated by, that he has been trying to like manipulate the stock market. Like, this has been an issue he has done with Twitter, I believe. So he's trying to see if he can do it on TikTok. That's at least what I've seen people talking about. Like, that makes the most sense, because why would they include that ending part? Like, and you know, the fact that Grimes is saying all this like random shit with no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I feel like Elon Musk manipulates the stock market every time he tweets some dumb bullshit.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah.
But even by accident, like, yeah, I remember my favorite reply to an Elon Musk tweet was just like some normal finance bro being like, hey man, I have stock in Tesla, can you shut up? It goes down every time you talk.
I know we have to get to the book, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody. I just want to say one more thing.
Uh-huh.
I send a calzone into space. I don't pay taxes. Oh,
I don't pay the taxes.
I don't pay taxes.
I send the calzone into space.
I make the rockets.
I make the rockets.
Okay.
Mamma mia, I sent the mama's ragu into the Jupiter.
I have no idea what's happening.
We're reading Italian Elon Musk tweets.
The greatest the greatest Twitter account of the Trump era.
Right.
There were a lot of iterations on that, and my favorite was the fucking South African Elon Musk one, which was just, I'm sending a car into space. I don't pay taxes. Yes.
Yes. He do be sending the rocket into space. Should we read this fucking book?
Sure, why not? Where were we? GSS's own programmers had designed and constructed Ludus and all of the schools on it, so it was entirely possible that Halliday was the one who's given the planet its name. And he probably would also have had access to the planet's source code if he wanted to hide something there. This is dystopian. This is the real dystopian part. Ernie just doesn't know it. The one billionaire had complete control over the universe which we inhabit. The realizations continues to detonate in my brain like atomic bombs going off, one after another. I died. According to the original D&D module, the entrance to the Tomb of Horrors was hidden near a low, flat-topped hill, about 200 yards wide and 300 yards long. Tangent! Again, we've been playing D&D.
We haven't played D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been DMing. I've barely played the game, but I'm trying to DM. And Jesse was trying to get me to, make it into another podcast. But, what I was saying is that it would just be, another Adventure Zone knockoff among hundreds.
To be fair.
But we have lesbians. We'd be the gay one.
The top of the hill was covered with large black stones that were arranged in such a way that, if you viewed them from a great height, they resembled the eye sockets, nose holes, and teeth of a human skull. Spooky! Ooh! But if there was a hill like that hidden somewhere on Ludus, wouldn't someone have stumbled across it by now? Maybe not. Ludus had hundreds of large forests scattered all over its surface, in the vast sections of empty land that stood between the thousands of school campuses.
Jesse, what
Some
the
of these
fuck?
forests. What?
Just what the fuck? My wife, I just got a text from my wife. I'm so sorry. And it's a close-up image of my butt. And I don't understand what the context is for this.
I was just looking at photos on my phone because I was listening to our friend read the book, and I found myself zooming up on your booty, and I thought I would share with the class. I'm sorry I checked out. I think I might be getting done with Ready Player One.
Yeah, maybe it's time for us to pivot. Maybe it's time for us to pivot into our demo reel. Just abandon the thing that people came for and abruptly replace it with some bullshit that they don't like.
I feel like we can call this episode Transformation. And
Damn,
okay.
I'd do a prestige gay thumbnail.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys. We know you're here, all three of you, to hear us read Ready Player One.
But
And
instead of
as
doing
much-
that, let's get funky. Let's get fresh.
Let's slow it down a little bit.
Let's slow it down a bit
Welcome to
and
our
bring us into a brave
ASMR
new era.
meditation video. Wait, it's a podcast.
Sponsored
Sponsored
by the Calm app.
Sponsored by Poppy's Adventure. Poppy Slumber Party.
This is going to be a meditation podcast now.
Yeah. Let's just
Breathe
slow
in.
it down.
Okay. Close your eyes.
Breathe in. Keep breathing in. Inflate. Inflate to a larger and larger size.
Oh no. No.
Keep breathing in. Don't stop, you pussy. Keep breathing in. I know you can. Keep breathing.
Jesse, no.
Don't stop.
Jesse, you
Hold
freak.
it.
Don't stop, you little bitch.
These are freaks.
Mommy will let you know when she wants you to stop.
Jesse, stop.
That's enough.
And breathe out.
Whew, okay.
Listen, I'm okay to read the book.
Were you going to say another thing?
I don't know. I'm very tired this morning. I woke up to my wife crying because I broke up with her in a dream, and it's just been all downhill from there.
Downhill from there. Oh boy.
You know what I think it
Oh,
is?
man.
What do you
is it?
think it is, love?
You fucking
Mercury
diva.
is in retrograde. And
Fuck you. I'll kill you.
Is Mercury
It
in
is.
retrograde?
And I'm hearing a lot of people say it means big changes.
Oh my
and I think
god.
part of me thought that it was going to be personal big changes, but I'm wondering if it's going to be professional big changes. I'm
I think
wondering
it's
if
more
the-
of a... I was going to say that I think it's more of a personal big chungus. But I decided not to.
Mercury is in retrograde. Oh my god.
I told you. So what I'm saying is I think it might be time that we switch it up. I mean, I don't know. Hey, podcast listeners.
What?
I'm talking to the masses now. If you like the idea of us doing a weekly or bi-weekly media podcast where we talk about whatever we want, send us an email.
Is Jessie the Trisha Paytas of our podcast?
Jessie is absolutely
Listen,
the Trisha Paytas. Like, Trisha Paytas light. Not like a transphobic Trisha Paytas, but
Yet.
definitely cursed chaotic energy.
I did have a lot of people compare me to Trisha Paytas on a TikTok I made.
You had one person say you looked like Trisha Paytas.
I
feel like 10 years from now, there's going to be like some other gaggle of sub 1,000 follower fucking gay weirdos who are making a podcast about the life and times of you, Jessie, and like all the bullshit that you got yourself into.
all the little shenanigans.
All the little shenanigans.
Oh, I didn't tell you. You want to talk about media? I finally got Sam to allow me to watch BoJack Horseman. My wife doesn't control me in any aspect of my life, except for the fact I was never allowed to watch BoJack Horseman because, quote unquote, it's the sad horse show and it's gonna make me sad.
Can you not just watch your own shows separately?
Oh no,
we live in the same apartment.
But
if Jessie's watching it, I'm watching it.
Can you not just like plug in headphones and watch it on your phone or something? I feel like there are workarounds on this.
Oh, there is. I think what Sam's worry was is that I would just having it was like a negative energy situation. Like the negative energy that BoJack Horseman would bring into the house was not worth me being able to watch.
The vibes of BoJack Horseman from an outside perspective were atrocious.
But
yeah, it's kind of like the Bo Burnham thing, where like there's a lot of funny parts, but the sad parts are what get press.
How dare you compare Bosif Burnham to Boshimback Horseman?
They're both good, and okay, I'm not gonna go there.
Oh, you were gonna say
Listen,
BoJack
context,
Horseman
I genuinely
is better.
think that BoJack Horseman is one of the best TV shows of the 2010s. I think that it's like absolutely fucking god tier.
You are allowed to think that. I will.
I am.
I will humbly disagree.
But y'all, we're not focusing on the good news, which is I finally was able to watch BoJack Horseman. I finally wore my wife down and was like, I'm watching the sad horse show and you cannot stop me. So I did,
Good.
and I do enjoy it. I just started season 4.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. I've been listening to it while I clean and stuff. And yeah. That I just want to let you know, because I know you're a big
That's really good.
BoJack fan. I like you're talking to me like I've made like a major life change. Like, oh, that's really good. I'm really proud.
It is really good. It's such a fucking good show.
It's also
I'm glad you get to experience it.
super depressing.
It is super depressing. It rules.
I can't wait for my next show, which will be Rick and Morty.
No, that one I can't. That one I absolutely will not.
You will not allow the bad energy into our house.
I can't do Richard and Mortimer. I can't have them in my home. Like I can't do that. I just saw a picture of Richard from Richard and Mortimer spitting all over himself, and I can't do that one.
Well, you're the one who obviously just Googled it while complaining about how you don't want to see it.
No, I saw it because I looked up BoJack Horseman and somebody was comparing the two. And now I did look it up, and that seemed, because I wanted to see if that's a common occurrence that he spits up all over his little mouth, and it is. There are many images of him with.
That's like his character model, basically.
Yeah, it's nasty, and I don't want it in my home.
That's super fucking valid.
I did watch the first few episodes of Rick and Mortimer like years ago, and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
It just isn't my style of comedy.
Yeah.
I didn't like. I enjoy edgy humor. I just I didn't find a lot of joy in Richard and Mortimer.
Yeah.
speaking of which, I have an argument for a media podcast. So here, this is my hi Shark Tank. Here's my audition for why I think we should start a media podcast. One,
The pitch, yes.
the pitch. Okay. One, you like to post sort of not edgy takes, loafers.
Hot takes.
You
I try
you
to be
post a lot.
spicy. I try to
You
keep.
you are a little
I
bit
try to
spicy.
keep it spicy.
You try to keep it
Yeah.
spicy.
I try to
and-
keep things interesting. I'm not interested in like pissing people off, but or like actually annoying people. But I definitely try to keep things interesting rather than just say the same thing that everyone else thinks.
Yeah. And the thing is I think a lot of people tend to take that personally because people don't like when you criticize the media. They get annoyed. I
Yes.
have
And
already
people also don't like it when I say that's not that Sucker Punch is a feminist masterpiece, even though I'm right.
exactly. Now the the good
Yes, that's why I said it.
the good dynamic that we have as friends, just between you and I, is that, as I've stated multiple times to you, I do not care about your opinion whatsoever. So nothing
Yeah.
you say upsets me because I just don't care.
Sick.
Sam,
That's what I need in a friend.
yeah. Sam, on the other hand, I think when Sam likes something, and because Sam is so like smart and intellectual.
No, you can say it's because I have ADHD. You can just say it's because I'm very interest based as a person.
So when Sam becomes passionate about something, Sam has a lot of feelings and thoughts, and they come rapid speed. So you guys are good together because you can battle it out with your opinions, but no one's going to get that upset because it's not like Sam fully takes it personally. Because Loafers already has a online presence of posting hot takes about media. If you can take that and make a podcast about it, I think more people are bound to tune in because they might have more interest in that than a podcast about a book that came out 13 or so years ago. I think we would have to read the last page of the book.
I think we would have to read the end of the book, and also we would have to watch the movie.
Is that how it ends? We watch the movie.
I feel like we have to watch the movie.
Is that our next
just for
episode?
closure. Yeah, I think the next episode could be that, like, we watch the movie, we talk about the movie for a while, then we read the last chapter. Mercury truly is in retrograde. I fucking guess. Maybe the new podcast, like, we could have a thing at the start of each episode where you read our tarot.
I'll read your tarot.
We could.
Oh, is it pronounced tarot?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, shows what I know. I was raised Catholic.
So was everybody. It's just Catholicism.
I wasn't.
Monday.
You two
That is
were.
not true.
You two were. I was not raised Catholic.
You were barely raised.
This is true.
Trisha Paytas was raised Jewish.
Were they?
No! That's the whole point!
Oh.
Trisha Paytas is like, I'm pretty sure, extreme Christian. Like, I know.
Well,
think
yeah,
their
they
dad's a
did come up
Republican.
with the song "I Love You, Jesus."
Love you, Jesus. And then they created a
Not
song.
so much anymore.
Wait,
Oh, they were Catholic.
Talk about cutting people out of your life.
so Trisha Paytas did a song, I Love You, Jesus, and then recently has done a song, I Love You, Moses.
Yeah. Well, and then they talk all the time too about being like a Jewish person for Jesus, like they still love
No!
Jesus, but they want to convert to Judaism.
I'm absolutely up for doing an episode where I just tell you guys all about Trisha Paytas.
That really could be a whole podcast.
You're
Not
gonna do
very
like a
long
deep
one,
dive into
but it could
Trisha
be a
Paytas.
podcast.
Yeah. And
Yeah, like, I feel like we could, like, just take, like, one chapter of the story at a time and, like, jump around a little bit, but basically, like, start at the start and go through. We could do lots of things. We'll have to figure this out.
reading Trisha Paytas. But for serious, when we do the live episode, I want everybody in the comments to let us know what you think about us switching up, talking about media. I know Loafer's got some good spicy takes. That could be fun. And Sam is good at research. And I'm cute.
I love that you just like tell your wife. So you're going to be doing all the research. That's how this is going to work.
That's
this
pretty
is
much
how,
what I
This
do.
is how you two play D&D as well. Just so our listeners at home.
Don't out
know.
me for our D&D practices.
Yeah, fucking Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot this in the head. You can, if for some reason you listen to this podcast and you're like, you think that I'm a competent person, then you can find more of my work at marklaherty.wordpress.com. You can find me on Twitter at loafersrights. You can support this or whatever we do next on patreon.com/loafers. I realize that's not the most enticing pitch right now, but please do anyway. And you can also follow the Twitter account for this dying podcast at Reading Player 1. That's number 1. Jesse, plug yourself.
Yeah, you can follow me at Jessie Nyres, so Nyres, at twitter.com. And just let me know if you like the idea of us doing a different sort of podcast. Let us know.
Sam, promote your content.
I don't have content. I have a Twitter. It's Skelebutch. Skeleton, but with Butch at the end. And
Sick.
yeah. Don't look for me. Or do.
Thanks for listening, everyone. GG, more like game over.
Game over, man.
Wait. Since we're for the ending. Hey everyone, this is just a quick apology. We'd like to apologize for this fucking episode.
It's alright. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through this time of change. And I believe in us, okay? Shout out to my homies.
Yeah.
Who are your homies?
George W. Bush.
Remember Akira? That's from Japan. Remember Galaga and Mrs. Pac-Man? Remember Highlander and Highlander 2? Remember Star Trek? We certainly do.